Hello everyone, welcome to my now second update for the Pen Those Eyeshadows project pan. This project was created by Alexie. I'm gonna leave her channel down below. But before we get into the before we get into the project, I wanted to talk with you about something. So, as many of you may know, there's currently a war in Ukraine, and I am Ukrainian. I'm currently not in Ukraine because I study abroad, so I'm in a safe space, but pretty much my entire family is still there, and I am very worried about them. I really don't want anything to happen to them or to anyone else in Ukraine, and I don't want to lose my home. I want to have somewhere to come back to after I finish my education here in the States. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys to help if you can. So I'm gonna leave links to places you can donate to, and if you don't have the funds, I'm going to leave a Google Doc with petitions you can sign, which is also very helpful. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So I guess now we can go talk about eyeshadows. I honestly feel a little bad making this video about just such stupid little things as colored powder while there are people dying in my country, but I was hoping I could use this medium as a way to spread the word and stuff. So yeah, let's just get to what all of you clicked this video for. That sentence sounded weird, but yeah, anyway, let's talk about eyeshadows now. One more thing before we get into the progress I've made for this past month. I want to talk about my goals. So my goal for this year is to have 50 pens in my collection. I currently have 30, so I have 20 more to go. Yeah. And I count pens like in general throughout, like even if I hit pen in a different project, I'm still going to count it to like my total of pens. My rules are that I always have 5 eyeshadows in my rotation, and the only way I can roll them out of the project is by hitting pen. So yeah, now we can finally get into the my progress. So the first eyeshadow I'm going to talk about comes from my So Jaded palette, which is ColourPop and Kathleen Light's collab. And the shadow that I had from this palette in the project is called Citrine, which is over here, and I hope you can see that I managed to hit pen on it. So yeah, I used this eyeshadow 15 times. Yeah, I really enjoyed using it. It's a nice eyeshadow, pretty pigmented. It's kind of powdery, which I think helped with hitting pen on it pretty fast. But yeah, and also I forgot to mention it last update because I'm honestly always like in a hurry, or like there's something else on my mind when I'm filming this video, so I like forget a bunch of stuff. But the last month, like the month before this past month, I also hit pen on Opal over here, So yeah, we have a little bonus pan. So yeah, citrine is going to roll out. The next eyeshadow I'm going to talk about comes from my Juvia's Place The Tribe palette, and it is the shade Aroma, which is this orange over here. As you can see, I don't have a pan in it. I used this shadow now 10 times. I hope you can see there's like a good dip in it. So I hope if I really put my mind to it, I'll be able to hit pan on it next month. But yeah, I haven't used this shadow that much this month because if you follow my what's it called, Project Level Up, I rolled in like a palette that has an orange in it, so this one was kind of put on a back burner. But yeah, so this eyeshadow is going to stay. The next eyeshadow, which is the last eyeshadow out of all of them that I'm going to show you today, is the last eyeshadow that is here from the very beginning, from the introduction basically. Comes from my Focus palette, which is Me Menu by The Balm. And the shadow that I have in this palette is called Matt Johnson, which is over here. And as you can see, I have not hit pan on it. Honestly, I feel like it will take me a while to hit pan on these shadows, because I know that if I hit pan, this palette will still stay in this project, so it's like it won't really be that much of a exciting change, so I take my time on them. But yeah, so I now use this shadow a total of 8 times, so not great, but yeah, that's about it. And the last 2 eyeshadows I have to share with you were rolled in the last update. So the first one of them is from Estate Venice Flame palette, which is in collaboration with Bailey Sarian. And the shadow that I had rolled in is called Rose Tattoo. As you can see, no pen either. I used this shadow just 2 times, so yeah, not great. Which I'm honestly quite surprised by, because I was very excited to have a red in my rotation, but I guess, I don't know. I guess the reason why I didn't use it as much is that I didn't really wear much red clothing, and I usually like to match my makeup to my outfits, so yeah. And finally, the last shadow that I had in the project this past month comes from my Strobe Cosmetics, which are now called Strobe Cosmetics Divinity palette, and the shadow that I had rolled in is called Ruddy, which is this one over here. As you can see, there's also no pen in it, but I don't know if you can see, but there is like a slightest bit in it. Dip. The slightest dip in it. So I used this eyeshadow 6 times. I didn't expect it to use it much, because if you're following my project, you know that I pretty much rolled in exact same shade last month. But I have to say, this one is not as peachy and maybe slightly less warm, so I found it to be more exciting to use. And I'm also using it today in my crease. I don't know, it's not really that noticeable, but yeah. So that is it. I'm going to swatch all of these eyeshadows in my on the back of my hand to show you what my color story looked like last month, and then we can finally roll in a new shadow. Okay, so here's what my color story looked like this past month. I'm just gonna name all the shadows once again. So this is Citrine from So Jaded. This is Aroma from The Tribe. This is Matt Johnson from Me Man Nude. This is Rose Tattoo from Venice Fling. And finally, this is Rati from Divinity. So yeah, it's a very like fiery color story with a pop of gray. So pretty interesting. But let's now finally roll in a new shadow to see how it will change our old color story. Okay, so I have my random number generator set to 1 through 1194. My numbers got up a little bit because I earlier last month I got the Odin's Eye's new palette, the Hella palette, in collaboration with Angelica Nikos. So yeah, anyway, let's do the rolling in. So our new shadow is going to be 770. So I'm gonna go look what it is and show you. Okay, so this is pretty exciting. So the eyeshadow, I haven't looked at it yet, but I have the palette. So my new eyeshadow comes from the Millennial Pinks palette, and it is called Mixed Emotions. So okay. So Mixed Emotions is this like pink shimmer. Okay. Yeah, I really like this palette, but I have to say shimmers in it aren't like the most exciting. So yeah, I do really like these mattes though. And this part will look really good with Matt Johnson, so that's a bonus. So yeah, I guess we're sticking with like warmish tones. So I'm going to swatch out my new color story and get back to you and show it to you, of course. Okay, so here is my new color story. It's pretty interesting, and I have to say, I think this pink does look pretty nice. So I'm less upset about it than I was earlier. So let me once again remind you what each of the shades is. So Aroma Tribe by Juvia's Place, Matt Johnson Me Man Nude by The Balm. Can you even see? This is Rose Tattoo Venice Fling by Estate. This is Rati by Shroud from their Divinity palette. And the last one is Mixed Emotions from Melt's Millennial Pinks. So here it is in comparison to the color story from last month. So, I mean, it's not that big of a change because only one shadow left. But still, I'm also glad that it's a shimmer, so it should be easier to have pan on, hopefully. So yeah, I think this is it for me. Once again, I'm going to leave petitions and what places to donate down in the comments. So if you manage to do either or both of those things, thank you so much. It means so much to me, and honestly I think it means a lot to all the Ukrainians, especially those that are currently in Ukraine and are like scared for their lives. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing good, and take care.